in Africa, I don't know if it's just us Africans or even outside there, we just have this perception to say we can only go to the hospital if we are sick. But I feel it should be up to us, whether we are sick or not, okay? We just make it a habit, at least every after 6 months. We just go and do a few checkups here and there and see how our bodies are operating. So early screening is really vital for communities.
And you're welcome. You're welcome. I trust that you are doing great. And this is the Maiden Health and Nutrition Conversation brought to you by Voice One Africa in collaboration with the Nutrition Clinic. And I am Peace, a registered nutritionist and the founder of the Nutrition Clinic GH. And I would be your host or moderator for tonight's session. Yes, so I know how we used to think chronic diseases are distant issues, how we used to hear of them affecting people in the Western world or affecting the elderly and, all of that. But now chronic diseases are no longer distant. They are closer to us than we think. Our families, our friends are experiencing and living with these conditions. And so that is why we are having this conversation, because one way or the other, we are all bearing the burden of this condition. Some of us are paying for the bills to take care of some relation or some family that is dealing with this condition. Some of us are bearing the emotional burden. Some of us, it is our work that is suffering, because some people have to put their work aside to take care of a family member who has this condition. And so that is why we found it very important to have this conversation about chronic diseases. And actually, today being the 10th of July is the World Chronic Disease Awareness Day. And I think it's a very good day to talk about this. So, by the end of this conversation, our experts are going to bring to light some strategies, some practical steps we could take to help us prevent this condition. Talking about small changes, big impacts, micro changes that can help prevent chronic diseases for the long term. And so we all will be walking away from this conversation having very practical tips that we can apply. All right. So as mentioned, I've got some experts on the call. We have Barbara. Barbara is a global health nurse from Zimbabwe, and she'll be sharing her insights on this condition with us. Hello, Barbara. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay. How are you? Can you hear me?
I'm fine. It's good to have you here. Yeah, I can hear you. We can have the conversation. All right. So when we talk about chronic diseases, what comes to mind?
Um, basically, chronic diseases are those diseases, for example, diseases that last more than a year. If
Mm-hmm.
let me give an example of hypertension, since this is one of the commonest disease that we are finding in young people, even in old people, like it's just
Mm-hmm.
around the corner. Yes, so once we check the blood pressure of our clients, we find that their blood pressure keeps on being on a higher side.
Yeah.
So we do run some tests to see what is it that is causing that. So if that patient constantly comes with such a blood pressure for a long time, and at that point, after the results diagnostically, they'll say the person is hypertensive. So a chronic
Mhm.
disease is only a chronic if it has stayed for over a year. Okay.
Okay. Okay,
Yes,
beautiful.
that's what
So from what you said, having high blood pressure for over a long time is a chronic condition.
it
Are there
becomes
any other
chronic.
examples of chronic conditions that you can share with us?
So we can talk about asthma. We can talk about, when someone has got an asthma, we know what asthma is.
Mhm.
That also is a chronic condition because it's there for a long time. Most people never gets healed from that. It's just palliative care or management, let's say, or cancers. Those are chronic. We can call them chronic diseases. We can also talk about diabetes. That is also
Okay.
depending on which type. That can also be a chronic disease if it is more than a year that you've been having that, and if it runs in the family, if it's genetic, it also calls for it to remain a chronic disease if you happens to have it.
Okay, okay. Kindly hold on with that thought. I see Mr. Asante is here. Mr. Asante is a lecturer at a tertiary institution. He's also a nutritionist and he's also here to share his insights with us. Mr. Asante, are you there?
Yes, please. Good evening,
Thank you
everyone.
for
I trust
good
we are all doing
evening.
well.
Yes, we are
Yeah.
happy to have you. How does one get to know that he or she has this chronic condition? Because I think it's very important for us to be able to tell um, what's happening with us. So, what are there any signs or symptoms that someone should be able to look out for to tell that okay, a chronic condition might be springing up?
And I would like to tell you a bit more about Voice One Africa. So, Voice One Africa is a Pan African youth movement. And what we do is, since 2020, we've been engaging youth across the continent in different ways. But we believe that the youth of Africa must come together if we want Africa to be a united and a federated state, for us to have the United States of Africa, to have that economic power, financial independence, and the true independence that we deserve, that our founding fathers were fighting for. So to attain that, Africa needs to be united. But whilst the politicians work at the upper level, we, the youth of Africa, must work from bottom up. And one reason why the Pan African vision failed at the onset was because they were not exposed to the cultures of each other. So Ghanaians had not met and related to people in South Africa, had not met and related with people in Egypt or Kenya. Nkrumah did well marrying an Egyptian, but that intercultural knowledge and awareness was not there. So it was very difficult for our founding fathers to attain that unity that we needed to have a Pan-African state, to have the United Federated State of Africa. And so to attain that, Voice One Africa believes that we must encounter each other. We must know people from other countries, yes, and connect. And when we do that, we are able to see our similarities. We're able to see the unique cultural diversities that we have, and then we'll be able to appreciate each other's perspective. So that's what Voice One Africa has been about. We use media, arts in all its forms, and communications. Like you've seen, we have different conversations. If you go to our YouTube, you go to our website, you see a lot of things that we've done since 2020. Two key programs that we've been doing is the Entrepreneurship Development Program, where we give free 3-week entrepreneurship training. And then at the end, there is a grant that we give. We've done that for twice, 2 cohorts already, and we're starting the next few cohorts in this year. So look out, when you go to the website, check EDP for Africa, voiceoneafrica.org. Then you go to programs, you see the EDP, Entrepreneurship Program for Africa. So you just go through it and you'll be able to enroll yourself on that program. The next one is the Echo Our Dream 10-year life planning program. We've come to understand, we go through our careers or our education, the universities and all of that. We come out without a clear plan, a clear vision. Some of us are able to come out with a career plan, but our lives span several sectors beyond career. So there's health, like we're talking about today. There is relationships, and nobody trains or speaks to us, prepares us for relationships, marriage, romantic, network in general relationships, or even romantic relationships. We don't know. We don't plan for that. But that's also one area it's key. Finance, and assets, building assets and financial planning. That's something we don't also plan about. We don't learn about it in school. So there are a lot of areas that we don't gain understanding through our educational system. So this 10-year life planning program helps us to plan. It's helping not only the youth of Africa and beyond, to plan in 9 key areas of our lives over the next 10 years, right? So that's a program that's there. So when you go to the Voice One Africa website, voiceoneafrica.org, and then you go to programs, you see the ECHO, our Dream 10-year life planning program, and you subscribe, and then you get the workbook is there. At the end of the program, you're going to leave with your own 10-year life plan. We have expert coaches that are going to be working with you to guide you to get that done. So those are two flagship programs that we are running. It's ongoing, so check them out.
All right. So, as my fellow panelists just mentioned, when we speak of chronic conditions, these are conditions that tend to persist for a very long period of time. So, from 3 months ranging to a year and more. Now, these conditions generally are silent creepers in the sense that they don't just come overnight, okay? They develop gradually and silently over time, okay? And most often than not, before you would experience the uncomfortable signs and symptoms they come along with, okay? Things probably would have gotten worse, or the disease would have developed and then gotten, like I mentioned, worse over time. Okay, so sometimes you get to experience the symptoms when so she mentioned like hypertension, when a disease has developed to an advanced stage. Okay, so normally we encourage that people tend to screen themselves. So you how do you submit yourself to health screenings so that you tend to know your status or how you are faring over time, because the moment you begin to experience the signs and symptoms, it's a signal that things have advanced and then gone far. So we don't normally encourage for people to sit down and begin to experience the terrible signs of, let's say, diabetes or hypertension or a heart disease. Okay, that is the little I can say with regards to that.
Right. So you are saying that these chronic conditions are asymptomatic, usually asymptomatic, where people do not get to see the symptoms early enough. And I think this is
Ye-
why we must all be proactive and do the checks, do the screening, so that we can be aware of what is happening within us. Okay. So let's talk more about high blood pressure. Okay. What are some of the risk factors, or what are some of the attitudes or lifestyle habits that usually cause this high blood pressure thing to spring up? Because high blood pressure is one of the most common cases or most common chronic conditions we have.
Okay, so mostly when you speak of chronic conditions, okay, or what we'll tend to term as non-communicable diseases, okay, usually the major contributing factor has to do with our lifestyle choices. So what we eat and how
Yeah.
we live tend to greatly influence our health greatly. So for high blood pressure to be specific, okay, I would like to touch on our lifestyle modalities like our diet. So consuming high amount of salt, okay, taking in too much of processed foods that have salt or high sodium content, high amount of sugary foods, living more of a sedentary lifestyle, so a lifestyle that is devoid or lacking physical activity. Okay, this would also predispose you to high blood pressure, bearing excessive weight or excess weight, or what we will generally term as obesity. Also, makes your heart work harder, and then also increase your blood pressure levels. If you're a person who tend to consume lots of alcohol, okay, and then you smoke as well, you are at risk of developing hypertension. Now, in addition to our lifestyle choices, okay, other predisposing factors could include your age. So, usually, when you grow, okay, so the older you get, um, the much stiffer your blood vessels become naturally, okay, so then your age tend to put you at a risk of picking up high blood pressure. If you belong to a family where there's a history of high blood pressure, your family history and your genetics could also put you at a risk, or in fact puts you at a higher risk. Your sex in a way, generally men tend to have a higher risk of high blood pressure when they reach the ages of 50 and beyond. And for women, when they hit their menopausal ages, they also tend to experience high blood pressure, okay, among other things. There are also other factors that could also put you at risk of high blood pressure. Let's say if you have a disease like diabetes, okay. So what I want to mean here is that other conditions or health conditions also pose as a factor, okay, that puts you at risk of developing high blood pressure. So a disease like diabetes normally goes hand in hand with hypertension. If you have high blood cholesterol levels, you tend to also, or you could develop high blood pressure. If you are pregnant, and I think we see this very commonly, we call this gestational hypertension. Okay, so once you are pregnant, okay, your body is under a bit of stress due to you, the mother or the external mother having or carrying a baby, the fetus. They could also develop high blood pressure. Certain medications as well could also increase the risk of high blood pressure. So these are things in summary that could um, be said to be risk factors to the development of hypertension, or what you would call high blood pressure.
Wow, thank you for that detailed response on high blood pressure. I think we all appreciate that this condition, high blood pressure, is multi factored. It means lifestyle, your lifestyle counts, the medications you are taking counts, some existing conditions count. All right. And so that's why it's good to always seek holistic healthcare. Barbara, can you tell us, with all that he has said, we see that it is not a straightforward thing. Do you think living healthy, following the right healthy habits is overwhelming? And how do you help your patients to be compliant to some of these recommendations?
Um, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, with patients, I've had experience with patients. Patients,
Yeah.
there are patients that are disciplined that will follow to say, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. And then we have those stubborn ones that will go back to what you
Yeah, yeah.
say, no,
Because sorry
don't
to
do
cut you, but some people actually feel like it's a lot. We tell them to cut this, to cut that, to cut this, and not do this, not take this. So, how
this.
can you share some um, ways that you use to help people to stay on track?
So, like I was saying, that, this is my introduction. It is very hard to even track if they're being honest or not, because patients, they come with different stories when they come. Some will be honest and some won't. So, it's really hard. to even track if what we said their last visit is being followed. You see, so there are patients that would come and say, okay, what you told me is really working. I did moderate my diet. I did start doing exercise. I'm taking my drugs on time. And you could see changes to say, okay, this person took the information correctly and they're doing the right thing. And you find those patients that would come, they keep getting worse because they're not following any of the things that we told them to do. And they feel that is too much, that is a burden on their parts. It's like we are starving them from their lifestyle, from what they enjoy doing. I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah.
Yes.
So we do our best by giving them information they need for their day-to-day lives. But what is so worrying is that on their parts, they are lacking behind. I don't know if you get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in your own experience or from your experience, what lifestyle habits deliver the most effective results for people that you have worked with?
Most lifestyles that has really worked that I see is okay, waking. You stay away from things that causing you much hazards. You eat healthy, you exercise, you know, those are kind of lifestyles that are working. And the other thing is you work on your mental health as much. Oh, yes, so I was saying that it all starts with the mind. Again, if you tell your mind that you're limiting yourself, you're restricting yourself to certain things, that will give a negative feedback to your body. So you just tell your mind that this is just a moderation and not a restriction. That really helps you to manage a lot of things and be adherent to health habits.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mr. Asante, can you add on some of the lifestyle habits that you think would deliver the most profitable results for our health?
So, so nutrition would encourage that you eat well. Eating well doesn't doesn't mean in essence eating. Okay, many people eat because and then they want to eat to their full. Not what we mean, but then what I mean is that we should eat a balance. Okay, use the amount we take. Okay, reduce the amount of oils we use in our cooking. So what you normally would call a dash diet. Okay, so we have diets, a specific diet type we call the dash diet. Okay, so you reduce your salt intake, you eat lots of fruits, vegetables, you go in for whole grains. Okay, reduce the amount of processed foods that you take because most of these processed foods contain high amounts of sodium or salt, as we would call it. Then also, we encourage that you exercise. Okay, you exercise to help burn excess calories so that they're not stored up as fat in your body. As you exercise, this will also go a long way in helping you maintain a healthy body weight. So once you are having a healthy body weight, you're not going to be obese or you not be at risk of obesity. Okay, and that greatly helps. In addition to limiting or reducing your salt intake, we encourage that you reduce alcohol and then you also quit smoking. So, one point I would like to pick from Nes Barbara was that you psych your mind that whatever thing you are doing, okay, these are moderation. Okay, so because people have, let's say, consumed alcohol for a while and it has become more of a habit. Okay, if not, let's say, bordering the lines of addiction. Others have picked up the habit of smoking. So if we ask them to quit at once, it's challenging. But then if you tell your mind that, okay, this is what I want to do for my own health, okay, for my own good, okay, you start small, okay, and then gradually you'll be able to do that. One other lifestyle modality that also helps reduce hypertension greatly is us being able to manage stress. Okay, stress come in all forms and all sorts. So stress from work, stress from familial responsibilities, and other things that we are supposed to, roles and responsibility are supposed to take up. We have to try our best to reduce stress. Don't think too much. Okay, if it will help, you can talk to someone. Okay, sometimes just having someone who can listen to you helps release some of the stress. And then finally, I'd add that we mentioned doing regular health screenings or health checks. Okay, so then you submit yourself to regular BP checks, particularly if, like I mentioned earlier, you have a family history of hypertension. You have your mother, your father, an aunt, whether close or distant, and a distant uncle you know of that developed hypertension. You should be conscious, okay, to submit yourself for regular hypertension checks, because hypertension, as we usually say, is a silent killer. Okay, you don't feel the symptoms until it's serious. So we don't want you to wait until things get out of hand before you now start rushing to the hospital and now turning in to look for interventions. Okay, so I think this the little things I would like to add up to what Ernest said.
All right. So you've talked about exercise, you talked about water intake, alcohol, limiting alcohol and smoking, and then stress as well. And you also talked about the mental aspect of it, how we should, yeah, Miss Barbara highlighted more on that. So thank you very much. Let me go back to Miss Barbara. I believe you work closely with the community as a nurse. What role do you think a community or the environment has to play or have to play um in preventing some of these conditions? Do you think there's a role that the community can play effectively to prevent these conditions?
Uh, yes, I do think the community do have so many roles to play in order to prevent certain conditions. One of them, which is early screening, is the other thing that I feel community needs to be doing is also just be interested in knowing health stuffs. They need to be curious. What is hypertension? Do they know it? They just need to be curious. If they don't know, let them find health people that can really educate them about it. As much as we may be educating them, is it in their interest to know? Are they interested? You find that most communities are not even interested in knowing about health. One, already they are scared to come to the hospital that we're going to give them other diagnosis they are not aware of. We are going to see other diseases they are not aware of. So that also is another problem. They have this phobia of just seeing the hospital building, that they will see other diseases that the body has been hiding. So yeah.
I actually have a question. So, Barbara, you're saying that sometimes it's the fear of maybe we are afraid that maybe when we visit the hospital, the other maybe a possibility that there are certain sicknesses within our body that are hidden, they may be identified, and because of that, people do not want to come to the hospital for screening. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Wow. Yeah, I think you have some truth in there. In there.
Yes. It's like
Wow.
you, Kwako, we tell you to say, come to the hospital. Since we've been having headache, you'll be saying, no, I'm scared. They'll do other tests. and then I get to know about other diseases. So it's like people don't want to know there's something in their blood. They don't want to know other diseases at all. So
Mm.
at the end of the day, it's very hard to even detect early condition because the community is not willing for that.
Is this not because
They're
maybe there are no support systems, or there are not enough support systems for Brenda? I see your hand. Maybe Isaac, maybe you can also help. But is it, how
I,
do we put support systems in place to help the
Hello.
community of people, so that in case maybe certain diseases or sicknesses are unpacked or discovered, we support the people or support us, so that we don't feel overwhelmed by the discoveries of sicknesses that are hidden in our bodies.
I think the first thing is to really create awareness in the communities. Let letting the community know to say yes, of course there are these diseases, but it's okay if you can come to the hospital, you can go to the hospital, your nearest health facility,
Mm,
where they get to know in its early stage, which well it's easy to manage than when it's not easy to manage. I think
yeah,
much of awareness and also building on health workers who can just go into communities and just educate community people to say hospital doesn't have dogs. Everyone's free to come, you know, and let them know it's healthy to come to do once in a while visits. If we
Mm,
asked ourselves in this meeting, like when last did we go to the hospital, not because we were sick, but we just wanted to know how our bodies, everything is operating within us. When last did we just voluntarily go there? So we can start with ourselves. You see?
that's a good
I
one,
don't think
isn't it?
I don't think anyone will lift their hands and say, me, I voluntarily went to the hospital. I was very fine. I just went to just check,
Wake up.
just for checkup. Nobody can
Oh,
even lift their
my
hands. We
network
just
is so terrible today. Sorry.
Sorry. Oh gosh. Um,
we just go there when we have slight headache, we feel fever. That's when we want to go to the hospital. And then when we go there to the hospital, even tell them to say, no, I don't want you to check this for me. I want just one specific test. Don't check this. I'm okay. We are even limiting that. They want to know. They want to
so
get to
there's a
the
lot
root
of
cause.
work. So it means there's a lot of work we need to do about sensitization and education. Let me
Yes.
go to Brenda. Brenda, I see your hands. Yeah, you can unmute, and if you're able to turn on your camera, that's fine. Otherwise, you could go. Just go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for the discussion. I just wanted to share something briefly that I've also noticed with we Africans. For example, I think we are most of the time not truthful when we go to the hospital. They will ask you, is there anyone in your family that has hypertension, that has cancer? We always say no. And I don't know if it's fear, or I don't know how we can, deal with this, because I feel like if it's on record, then if anything is happening, they'll be quick to check those things. But sometimes I also think it's we have faith, so we don't want to profess it that yes, I have this in my family, or I've had a history of A, B, C, D. And I don't know if it's helping us or not, but what can we do about this kind of situation? Because I myself, I'm a victim. You go to say, do you have this in your family? No. Do you have this in your family? No. Do you have this? Everything is no. But there's somebody with hypertension. There's somebody who passed away having cancer. How can we educate ourselves? Or how can we take away the fear and be so honest about our health whenever we go to the hospital? Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. So,
Thank you.
please, can I come in? Can I make a
Yes,
submission?
please. Yes, please.
All right. So, for me, I think it's more of a mental or a psychological thing, particularly with us Africans. Firstly, for us, most people see the hospital or a health facility as a place for sick people. So then, if you aren't sick, okay, as in you're not feeling unwell, most people don't see the need to walk into a health facility because it's a place for sick people. That is how we have been. Many people's mind have been shifted or have been designed. So then, or probably I don't have someone to, let's say, escort. Let's say I have a friend or a loved one who is on us. So then that is one. Two has to do with the fear of the unknown. So I think Brenda mentioned fear. For most people, most African, we feel that when you think of the thing, or when you talk about it, then the thing will come upon you. So if you don't talk about it, it's far away. Something that is talking about it is something that is not near me, so it can't affect me. So the moment I begin to think of attention, I begin to think about high diabetes or African and our belief system. You are rather drawing the thing to yourself. So
Oh, I think Isaac's network, we're having this challenge as well. So I turned off my camera just to help in a way, but it's still, oh, we just lost him. Wow. But I think the things he was saying were so true, isn't it? Guys, let's hear from everybody. We're opening the floor now. We'll have some, we want to hear from you. So we've heard from Brenda. What's your take on all of this? I mean, this conversation was actually supposed to be about lifestyle choices and how those little decisions we make impact our health. And they've touched on lots of it. And we kind of zeroed down into hypertension or high blood pressure. Now we're talking about the
Yeah.
behavioral
Hello,
component.
Joe. Can I contribute something?
Oh, hi, Peace. Yeah. Is it Peace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's me. So I want to say that as we are all part of this conversation tonight, we should leave this conversation as ambassadors of the healthy lifestyle. Let's start with encouraging people to go out there and get screened so that they can become health aware or self-aware about their health status. Let's go out there, encourage our friends and families, and then let's help take out the fear in them that they are not checking to instill fear or to get worse, but they are going to do the test to get informed, and that information will empower them on what health choices or lifestyle choices they will be taking from there.
Wow, that's great. I mean, it's amazing. We've got loads of people on this conversation. We want to hear your voice. What what's about this conversation has been boggling you? Like, and I see the interest in this conversation, for which reason we have lots of people on this call today. So, is there anything around this conversation that's particularly interesting to you, or you have any question around it? We've got the professionals here who will be able to respond and we'll be able to brainstorm and see how best to help each other and navigate this the lifestyle choices we make regarding our health. Yeah, any thoughts? Maria, I see you. Um, Michelle, you haven't spoken. I see you. Deborah, you're here as well. I see you. Priscilla, I see you. Barbara, you're back. It's great to have you. Vicky, you're here. Yeah, Vicky, you're muted. Go.
Yeah, good evening. I'm so excited to be here, part of this conversation, and it's really been an interesting one.
Yeah. Vicky, where are you joining us from? You just introduce yourself briefly and there you go.
Okay, my name is Vicky Ajachide. Actually a health and wellness coach. I'm joining from Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thought I wanted to talk about, somebody was saying on the comment section that we should endure healthy living now, and I was just laughing. Some people actually think that to live healthy lifestyle is really expensive. Some people actually think that, oh, to live healthy lifestyle is a way of suffering. Someone actually told me one time when I was telling the person, oh, eat more vegetables. The person said, oh, you want me to eat vegetables like goat? And I laughed. And I said to him, and I said, "Oh, if you don't eat more vegetables like the goat, then the goat will actually be more healthier than yourself." So I
Mm.
think it's all about a mindset shift, you know. The problem we are
Yeah.
having is that, hello, can you still hear me, please?
Yes, there were a
Yeah.
bit of breakages there. But yeah, you said the problem we are having is that that's where we lost you.
Okay, the problem we are actually having is upbringing. The way we were brought up, you know, when we're born into a family, we tend to follow the pattern how our family were eating. And in Africa, most of our diets, we have gone farther away from the way our ancestors used to eat. Our ancestors, they knew what to eat, they knew the herbs to take if they were sick. But because we are this new generation that we're grown into civilization, especially the Western civilization, we have lost most of our heritage when it comes to food, herbal therapy. In fact, when you talk about herbs or herbal therapy, people think, oh, herbs are diabolic. I said no, they are not diabolic. They are part of our roots. They're part of our heritage. So when it comes to healthy eating, we don't need to endure. It's actually so exciting. All we need to do is to maybe teach people how they can make that shift, especially mentally first. They can make that mental shift first and know that, oh, it's actually possible for me to eat healthy and enjoy my meals. It does not mean that healthy eating or healthy living must be boring, you know. So we need to enlighten people, talk to them, let them know that it's actually exciting, even to take a walk in the park. If instead of taking a bike to walk, I tell people, why don't you take a walk instead of taking a bike?
Mm.
Because it's more healthy for you. So it's actually about a mindset shift. And then I also tell them, okay, you go to the supermarket, you're hungry, you want to take a snack. Now the conventional thing for anyone to do is to buy a fizzy drink or an energy
Mm.
drink and or a
Mm.
snack made from the processed flour. You know, maybe the meat pie, the buns, the egg roll, like here in Nigeria. That's why what we call them. You know. So why don't you make a
Mm.
shift? That same amount of money, because actually people also think that it is actually expensive to eat healthy. I say no, it's not expensive. Take that same amount of money. For example, in Nigeria, I will ask for, if it is 3,000 naira for you to take to buy a fizzy drink and a meat pie or a buns. Take
Mm.
that same amount of money. Go to the grocery store where you have fruits and vegetables. Use that same amount of money and buy a fruit, maybe an apple, a banana, pineapple, or oranges. Then take them and drink them. Buy a bottle of water. Drink the water. On the long run, you find out that you are actually filled and
Wow.
you actually filled up, and then you have actually fueled and nourished the cells of your body. The
Mm.
other snack you're taking is going to cause inflammation inside the body, but this other one, just making that shift alone with the same amount of money, is actually going to help you. It's going to nourish your cell on a unicellular level. The water is going to help you, you know, instead of the fizzy drink that is loaded with sugar, that is going to cause inflammation inside of your body. Meanwhile, the water is going to help you digest this food. And then when you
Mm.
take fruits, whole fruits, vegetables, they act like, I used to say, like a broomstick, and it's going to sweep out your colon. Because when people do this, I notice that by the next day they tell me, "Oh, Vicky, I went to toilet the next day. I was really massive, you know." So they are able to see that there is an immediate result. You get. But
Mm.
meanwhile, when they take the other processed foods and snacks, they discover that their colon is stuck. They're not able to go to the empty
Yeah.
their bowels in the morning. But when you go towards the other way, make just this simple shift. And if these people are able to make this shift every single day, consistently, over a long period of time, they see massive result within 7 days,
Yeah.
within 14 days, within 30 days. And I always encourage people, why don't you take it further? Because you're now seeing the result. Why do you want to go back
Mm.
to the way you were
Wow.
eating that
Wow.
causing you inflammation, causing you? And when they eat that way, the headaches are gone, the tiredness is gone, you know,
Yeah. Thank you
the
so much,
fatigue.
Vicky, for sharing these. I mean, these are really great inputs that you've also made. And I see in the chat, major lifestyle factors highlighted includes exercise. Yeah, adding to what Vicky also said, we've highlighted exercise, the increased intake of water. So we should take a lot of water. We should limit alcohol, and we should limit smoking, and also we should manage our stress. These are intentional choices towards healthy living, so that's really great. Yeah, more I see you. Yes, go. Just introduce yourself, where you're joining us from, and then shoot. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Moria Champo. I'm from Zambia. So, am I audible enough? Okay. So, I like how everyone has just labored on focusing on what creates health and not just what causes diseases, like making health comprehensible, manageable, and meaningful in our daily lives. So, those micro habits around food, movement, sleep, stress, are really important, and they are really like health assets that we build every day. But to make those micro habits possible at a larger scale, we have to go upstream to primordial level of prevention. I'm really passionate about how we groom a child. So, just to highlight, primordial prevention is about preventing the emergence of those risk factors in the first place. And I feel that's the most powerful tool that we have in terms of us preventing these infections or diseases at a public health level. So when we teach children and communities early enough, like in schools, churches, homes, and community spaces, that small daily choices matter. We're not waiting for the actual hypertension to appear, but we're shaping norms, we're also shaping skills and the environment that makes healthy choices a default. So education at primary level now becomes the foundation for prevention. We're not just preventing diabetes or hypertension 20 years from now, but if we start with children, start it at primary level, we are creating a generation that understands health, that feels capable of managing those micro um, things or micro habits that we mentioned in this particular meeting, and also just finding meaning in caring for it. So that's how small habits can lead into big impact, because they're learned, practice, and it becomes part of our normal living before the risk exists. So, in as much as we would want to speak to elderly people, we should also trail back to primary level of prevention. That's our children, the future generation, 20 years or 50 years from now.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, that's really great. The angle that you've also brought this. What I'm gathering, as we're rounding up soon, is I you know we've delved into lots of places, spaces today in this conversation, and then this is meant to be a series, so this is only the first. But Voice One Africa, we typically we have our health conversations, and I see that this would actually also fit very well into our health discussions, even though this has a nutrition component as well. So what we'll do is that with the next series, I don't know, piece maybe we would have to see that should we take particular conditions, because today we've spoken a lot about hypertension or high blood pressure. Should we take particular conditions and see how healthy lifestyles can help reduce the tendency of these diseases or something? Or should we just have the conversation that we've just had? Even though we've had a generic conversation today, we've mainly spoken about some of these. What's the word you chronic? Is it chronic diseases? Is that what you said? So what do you guys
Chronic
think?
diseases.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you guys think? Should we take a particular condition? Let's say maybe what are the other ones? We've not spoken about diabetes, but we've spoken about hypertension today. So let's say maybe the next one could be diabetes or any of the other kind of chronic diseases, and then we talk about how our living, our healthy living or living choices can influence these kind of that particular disease, so that each conversation is targeted at a particular condition. What do you guys think? Is it a way to go, or should we just keep it the generic conversations in this series? Sorry, let's hear Vicky, and then peace. I'll come to you just briefly. Vicky, go.
Yeah, I was saying that we can just pick different of the chronic diseases and talk about them. Like today we've talked generally, but we can talk about them subsequently. Pick diabetes, pick high cholesterol, pick fatty liver, and just talk about them like that. Thank
Those
you.
one particular. Oh, I think peace. Yes, please.
Yeah, my internet is not helping today at all. I was
Sorry.
saying that we can leave today with the general recommendation that could help prevent these conditions in as a whole. But in the next meeting, we could have hypertension as a topic, and then we delve deeper and appreciate it better.
Okay, thank you. We're going to take closing remarks from our panelists. Thank you so much, Peace. Technology hasn't really helped you today, but it's been great having you facilitate and to get the conversation going this far. So we hear from you, Mr. Asante, right? Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so for my closing remarks, okay,
Yeah.
please can you hear me?
Yes. We can.
So, like we were saying, when it comes to chronic conditions, these are conditions that generally you don't experience them. The symptoms of them have caused a much greater havoc in your body, affecting your health terribly. Okay, so then until things get out of hand. Okay, like we said, small changes or small habits, okay, positive one, healthy ones, can go a long way in helping improve our health. Let's not think or try to do grand things, okay? So the little things, so the little exercise. You don't have to register the gym, okay, before you think you are exercising, lifting weights and dumbbells and weights. Okay, you can walk, you can dance. These are all exercises that you can undertake that will really help improve your health. We have to watch what we eat, because they're saying that we are what we eat. Okay, so if you feed your body garbage, your body will become what you feed yourself. So let's watch what we eat. Okay, we don't have to necessarily follow the trends. We are in an era where now, because of advertisement, the pressures from advertisement, and what seems to be moving or to be popular, so many people want to eat those foods. So forgive me, I don't want to mention any brand, but then the fast foods that we have, the burgers, the fries. These are foods or meals that have high salt content. Okay, they are going to increase your blood cholesterol level because of the oil unhealthy fats that are in them. The salts are going to increase your blood sugar levels. Let's go in for our homemade meals. At least I know most of us, someone was complaining about work stress. So you come home from work late, you have no choice than to eat from outside. But then let's make the conscious effort. At least once a week or twice a week, we should eat a homemade meal. Okay, our own cultural foods. Okay, so if you're Ghanaian, your fufu with your palm nut soup, these are nutrient dense meals where you're going to get all the nutrients that you need, and they'll go a long way in helping you. Okay, helping you. Let's incorporate fruits and vegetables in our diet. I know some would complain that fruits are expensive. Okay, you don't have to get a whole basket of fruits. Okay, but then maybe one serving of fruits, okay, a day for starters could be fine. Maybe one banana, a finger of banana, an apple, an orange, a medium size. These are fruits that will go a long way to supply our bodies with the necessary minerals and vitamins that we need. Okay, they are rich in fiber. They'll go a long way in helping reducing our cholesterol levels and stuff, reducing our sugars. Okay, so these are small. We can do these things in bits and pieces, small, small, small. Okay, and they will go a long way in coming together to improving our health, sorry, and then also helping us maintain them. Okay, so that's a little I like to
Yeah.
say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Aminu is on the call. Yeah, please let's have you. Yeah, your final thoughts. I'm sure we are going to have you share even more in the next episode or the next conversation. So let's hear you briefly, please.
All right. Good evening to you all from Ghana. Sorry, I think I wasn't able to join in the discussion, but I think my colleagues have done a very good job. NCD is real. Please, let's see it as a fight. Okay, those of us on the call, it is a fight. Let me be very blunt. There are people who are getting money out of this. They want us to stay on the drugs. They are taking away our African rich foods and replacing them with all that we call celebrated foods so that we can stay on drugs. But this fight can't be fought by one or few people. We all can come on board. And it starts with the changes we are making today. You have heard a lot. You've heard of high salt intake. You've heard of high sugar sweetened beverages. You've heard of so many lifestyle changes that we can make. You see, the difference between the one who have a little healthy life is what we put in practice. It's not how we hear and also the things we accumulate in our minds or brains. We have to take the steps, share with our family, make sure that we are telling them that we should run away from all these things that are contributing to the shift and leading us into these non-communicable diseases. And I believe that, as Jim Rohn said, your body is the only place you have to live. And so what do you have to do? Take care of it. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you another time when time permits us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now let's go to Barbara. Barbara.
This has been a very wonderful session, and thank you for having me on board. I just hope that what we've learned, we'll share it with our community, one or two people. I think it would be so beneficial just sharing it around. I love the route that Moria took, talking about young children. And as we have phobia for hospitals, we should also realize that if we do not share information with the young ones, they shall also grow up like us, just as we are growing up like our forefathers, who have fear to go and do checkups even when we are not, we are okay. So this is an eye opener that there are things that we need to work on as health workers, as people outside the health sector. There's so much work that we need when it comes to creating awareness about health habits and how to just live healthy. So we really need to really put more workforce, I think. Yeah, so it starts with us. So what we've discussed in this space, let's see how we can just share it around our community. I think that would be nice if we did that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barbara. And I'm grateful to all of you for being here. Thank you so much. Peace. Said that already. So, all of you, it's been a very great conversation that we've had. I'd like to invite you all to join Voice One Africa. So, if you go Voice One Africa, let me turn off my camera so you see the spelling. That's it, voice number one Africa.org. So, voice1africa.org. You go there, you see membership, and then you can join. We have our WhatsApp platform. When you join, you get a link to just join our WhatsApp platform and also our Facebook group. So we're going to build this conversation. It's going to be a monthly conversation, and it's been so empowering and informative having all of us share. So let's keep this community growing. A lot more people were not able to join, but I'm sure that as we keep going consistently, we're going to have the bigger engagement. So let's do that. Well together. So thank you, everyone. God bless us all. On this note, I would like to say bye to everyone until our next session, which is going to be next month. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.